Good evening, everyone. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Mustang Arena for Varsity basketball competition. Please welcome our guests from Hagerty High School. They are the Huskies. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our game this evening, we invite you to please stand and remove your hats as we honor America with the singing of our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glow, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. And now, let's meet the teams, beginning with our guests from Hagerty. And starting at center with 6'7" senior, number 1, Jack Smith. At guard, 6'2" senior, number 3, Josiah Ortiz. At guard, 6'2" senior, number 22, Mason Morrow. At forward, 6'5" senior, number 30, Isaac Lopez. And finally for the Huskies, at forward, 6'4" junior, number 35, Asa Cone. The head coach of the Huskies, Josh Cone. And now, let's meet the starting lineup for your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Starting at guard, 5'11" junior, number 1, Darren Thomas. At point guard, 6' junior, number 10, Ruben St. Pierre. At wing, 6'4" junior, number 11, Jason Franson. At guard, 6'4", sophomore, number 21, Kenneth Juiced. And finally for the Mustangs at guard, 5'9" senior, number 4, Juju Johnson. The head coach of the Mustangs, Mr. Jacino Lubin. The officials for tonight's game are from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. We again remind our fans here in the arena that if you have friends and family back on the Hagerty side of town, elsewhere in Apopka, or anywhere in the world, and they were not able to join us in person for tonight's game, send them to one of two places. You can either go to nfhsnetwork.com, or if you're not a member there, you can go to our YouTube channel, Wekiva Sports. And we want to welcome those of you who have done just that. My name is Mark Bargee, voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva, joined by Neil Fisher from the Apopka Chief, ready to take you through some Tuesday night basketball action. And we're going to get things started as Hagerty's Isaac Lopez tries to get something going on that end and not successful. Neil, these two teams looking to get some mid-season momentum going as we enter the second third, kind of the middle third of the season here as we get into December. And Wekiva in particular looking to kind of get out of the doldrums and get some quality wins on the books before they get to their holiday tournaments.
Yeah, we 30 seconds into this game, and again, Mark, excellent job. Great pipes on the Star Spangled Banner. And as you mentioned, both these teams looking to get some momentum heading into that middle third of the season. Of course, Hagerty, about 15 years old. They have been a perennial playoff contender, always having expectations of making long runs into the playoffs. As the turnover, and back the other way we go. Quick shot from Johnson, slides off the rim, ripping the rebound down is Asa Cone. So a quick opportunity for Wekiva to seize the lead, unable to convert, but they did get a good look. Cone swings through the lane and makes the withdrawal, and immediately a timeout.
Basket by Asa Cone to put the Huskies on the board, and we'll pause for a timeout. 30-second timeout called by Wekiva. Back with more from Mustang Arena in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Wekiva takes the ball over at their own baseline. Coach Lubin apparently saw something in the first 60 seconds that maybe didn't become clear in practice or in warm-ups, and so wanted to make an adjustment right off the bat. He calls a 30-second timeout to do that.
So as we mentioned, as I was saying, as Johnson takes the ball to spin into the middle, the 4-foot floater does not drop. Just cannot get enough of an arc on it. 3-2 this season for Hagerty. Somewhat misleading, of course. Hagerty always having feeling that they should be making a run deep into the playoffs, taking on one of the tougher schedules. To your point, Mark, and again, 2-3 for Wekiva. Still a fairly young team, as we've mentioned several times. 7 returners this season, along with 3 transfers with varsity experience. But again, they became starters and saw significant times as either freshman or sophomore as we get the turnover.
And Neil, for those of our viewers who may not be aware, the scheduling limit in high school is 25 regular season games. So not counting your preseason classic, not counting anything from the district tournament and beyond, you're limited to scheduling 25 regular season varsity games. Wekiva, notably this year, is a bit backloaded on that. They have a holiday tournament. They got some stuff going on over MLK. They have just more games in the second half of their schedule than in the first by a calendar perspective. And so that's why they have relatively less experience on the court at this particular moment than maybe some of their peers.
So Wekiva unable to score at the other end. It's, of course, Hagerty in their traditional light blue with the dark blue trims. Always a nice looking color combination. Wekiva in their home jerseys, white, along with the maroon and gold beige, if you will. Cone with the shot, too hard, can't find the rim from downtown or find the range from downtown. Johnson gets the pass after the rebound. His shot slides off the left. So both these teams moving the ball quickly up and down that court. Still 2-0 for Hagerty. Wekiva with another opportunity to tie. St. Pierre banks it off, or finds it too hard off the rim. Went off the heel. And so Hagerty back to work. Chance to get the lead back up to 2 possessions. two possessions for the first time tonight. Great sleight of hand there by Thomas, getting that ball in. Didn't come up with the turnover. Certainly would have been great in a transition opportunity. But nonetheless, as we always say here at Wekiva, that certainly slows down your offensive flow.
Darius Holiday, meanwhile, comes into the game for Wekiva.
So again, 3.5 minutes in, 2-0 lead for Hagerty. Can it go 5-0? No. As Cone takes the shot, but he was
foul is
banged.
called against Mustangs.
Actually,
Number 21,
Lopez.
Kenny DeJuice. That's his first personal foul. The team's first. That was behind the arc. So Isaac Lopez will shoot 3.
So, of course, if you follow high school basketball, yes, that was Lopez taking the shot, not Cone, as I originally said. Both wearing numbers in the 30, Lopez the 30, Cone the 35. As I was saying, as the second shot falls, again, 3 shots because it was beyond the arc. The name Cone should be rather familiar to you. Of course, you have Joshua Cone at the helm of Hagerty. They won their state championship in 2013. I mentioned they always expect to make long runs into the playoffs. At the other end, it's Thomas. He's short, can't find the range from downtown. Quick outlet. Now that is Cone. And now back at the top of the key. So, of course, the Cones, coaching basketball is a family business. And more of the Cones than not have won state championships. Again, Joshua Cone, I believe the only coach Hagerty has ever known in basketball, winning his state championship in 2013, looking for a return trip to the playoffs as well. As we drop under 4 minutes, 3-0 lead for Hagerty. They can find that open tray and score it for Ortiz.
For Josiah Ortiz.
So 6-0 lead for Hagerty. Wekiva's still looking for his first points. They've gotten some good looks, just have not been able to connect yet. Through the lane and floating in the deuce is St. Pierre. Nice looking.
Lemon St. Pierre puts the Mustangs on the board.
Much needed points for Wekiva. 3.5 minutes in. Don't want that lead to get too far ahead in the early going. Cuts it down to 4 at the other end. The tray attack continues. That was Morrow launching. And again, looked like there was a lid over the rim and a foul on the rebound. It'll be
Asa Cone is called on the foul. It's his first personal. The team is first. Bryce Dees into the game for the Mustangs.
So Thomas brings that ball up. You can hear him calling out the play already. He's met at half court. Backwards pass to Johnson, and nope, not an over and back. Hagerty touched it. So Johnson one-on-one. Ortiz, top of the key, now gets loose. Slides through the rim, trying to make something happen. Back to Thomas. Under 3 minutes. Thomas looking for the shot, guarded nicely by Lopez. And he sends it back to D, so reset the offense. Man on man for Hagerty. Not a surprise there, of course. That's a trait of a Cone coach team. Not just Joshua, but as we mentioned, the entire family. Step back from Johnson, and Sowish.
Fading jumper from Jude Johnson.
Cuts the lead to 6-4. 4 in a row for Wekiva, who's also looking down low. Can't handle it. That was Smith. Gets up his own rebound. It's blocked. Rejected.
Juice had a good block there. We've seen a lot of good blocks from him over the course of this season at the handful of home games we've seen.
Now 2 minutes remaining. Wekiva a chance to tie or take the lead. And no tie as DeJuice gets his own rebound, makes the withdrawal. Iron time.
Kenny DeJuice gets his own putback for 2.
First tie of the ball game. 6-6, 6 in a row for both teams now. First Hagerty, now Wekiva. Down low into Ortiz. He can't get it to go. Just enough distraction from the Wekiva defense to throw the shot off. And Wekiva with a chance to take the lead for the first time tonight. Minute and a half first quarter. Johnson thinks, why not? Can't get it. Nice shot, nice rebounding. Windex work for Holiday. Positioning himself in the right place, right time.
Yeah, the thing is, Neil, if you can get those good box-out offensive rebounds, we get a block shot there by Jack Smith, then it means you can take those lower percentage shots, because if you miss, well, it might as well have been the same as a pass.
So 2 offensive rebounds on this possession. It's going to translate to a couple of free throws.
Foul is called against number 1, Jack Smith, his first, the team's second. That sends Darius Holiday to the line, shooting 2 for the Mustangs.
Holiday at the line, looking for his first points of the game. Also want to mention, talked about Hagerty's schedule. Of course, always one of the more difficult schedules among the entire state because of their expectations, long playoff runs. But Wekiva certainly comes in on some good news. They defeated West Orange in their last game, a rather convincing victory, 25-plus points. They led from the majority of that game, so opportunity tonight as both free throws drop for the Juice. And Wekiva has its first lead of the ball game at 1:14 in the first quarter. Opportunity for Wekiva to go back-to-back victories for the first time this season. Meanwhile, Ortiz launches.
3 for Isaac Lopez.
Hagerty made it look easy. So we get our first 2 lead changes there, 9-8, under a minute. Wekiva back to work. The Juice, top of the key. Hagerty remaining in the man-to-man. Down to 45 seconds. Back out to Nichols. Long-range tray. It's short. Can't find the range from downtown. But again, nice job. Anderson tracking that rebound down. Anticipated correctly where it was going to go. 4th offensive rebound over the last 2 possessions for Wekiva. 30 seconds remaining now. Down the baseline, finding Anderson on the wing. Slides off that rim, Wilt off the front. Lopez, the long outlet across the paint pass to Tate. And good defense. Anderson again showing off his defensive wares. Knocking that ball out of bounds and preventing an easy deuce.
Jason Francillin back in for the Mustangs.
15 seconds to go, so Wekiva still not being able to really find its rhythm as far as field goal percentage, but you gotta like those offensive rebounds, getting some extra opportunities, sliding through at the attack, out to Lopez. That's going to be short off the heel and the side, and that is Francillin snagging the rebound. Windex work, unable to get a shot off, but
that takes us to the end of the first quarter, and it is a 1-point ball game. The Huskies leading the Mustangs 9-8 at the end of 8 minutes here on Tuesday night basketball action from Mustang Arena. Back with more in just a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. The Mustangs have the opening possession of the second quarter.
And so again, Wekiva looking to even its record at 3-3. Hagerty avoiding to fall to 3-3 and get that 2 over 500 lead, but Hagerty came out, scored the first 6 points. Wekiva came alive during the last 4 minutes, even took the lead at 8-7. 9-8 lead now for Hagerty. Wekiva, opportunity to regain that lead, first possession of the second quarter. And they're certainly looking a lot better on the offensive end. As Holiday can't get the
under duress, couldn't get it. I might have traveled a little bit there. His foot slid, but it doesn't matter. Ball goes to the other possession anyway.
That's Vega, who came in between the break. He can't find the range, no dice on the tray at the other end. It's Dees launching, he can't find the range, no dice for him either. But now the difference is Wekiva gets his 5th offensive rebound Again, they did not have an offensive rebound until about 2.5 in the first quarter. And they'll get a third one on this possession. Third attempt does not translate. It's a ball iron unkind, but
Jason
Francillon.
Francillon is fouled on the putback attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot two. The foul is called against number 33, Nicholas Garces. That's his first and the team's first of this quarter.
So Wekiva now with 6 offensive rebounds. And as we mentioned, Francillon, his hard work pays off in the trip to the free throw line. So unable to drop that first free throw, looking for his first points of the game as well. And no dice on either of those, and ripping down that rebound is Vega. So Hagerty with the 9-8 lead goes back to work. Wekiva opportunity goes by the wayside, making life difficult, but Hagerty settles down, gets into their half-court set. Cone, short on the tray. Anderson tries to lob it in. Ill-advised pass, and now does Hagerty get possession, but they're off to the races. As Vega snags that ball, finds his man, and making the withdrawal is Tate.
Gavin Tate from Dane Vega.
Can you remind top row up there? He's got
So Wekiva with only 3 turnovers tonight, but all of them have resulted in points for Hagerty. So back to work Wekiva goes, now trailing 11-8, a 4-0 run for Hagerty. That breaks the run, score the deuce on the withdrawal for DeJuice.
DeJuice for 2.
Cuts the lead to 11-10. Both these teams scored 6 consecutive points to start the game. First by Hagerty, then Wekiva. And that's
That touched the backboard. It supports. That's the same as out of bounds.
The equivalent of a defensive rebound. So give credit Wekiva with that defensive rebound. And they'll have a shot at taking the lead.
Yeah, it's one of those things that pretty much almost every high school arena in the country, you're going to find the backboards set up that way just because they need the flexibility in the gym for what they do during PE classes during the day. Sometimes we need the baskets up, sometimes we need them down. And the amount of setup time, both in terms of equipment and in terms of personnel resources, to do what you would do at like the Amway Center for an NBA game or even a college NCAA game just isn't realistic at the high school level. So that's why in high school gyms you're always going to see the backboard suspended from the ceiling rather than supported from behind the end line. And that's one of the necessary evils of that, is that sometimes you will get a clinker that comes off the rim and goes straight into those supports.
Meanwhile, Wekiva with the possession. First off, shot does not drop. They keep hammering those boards. Do not score on this possession, but as I mentioned before, you got to feel good, though, getting those offensive rebounds if you're Coach Lubin and his staff.
Gavin Tate adds 2 for the Huskies.
So that'll take the lead back up to 13-10. 4.5 before halftime. Wekiva looking to even their record at 2-3. Of course, Wekiva coming off a very disastrous and painful year, 5-18, losing their last 12 games. As we'll see,
foul called against Huskies, number 12, Gavin Tate. It's his first personal foul. The team's second of this quarter. That will send the Mustangs to the free throw line. This time it is Markel Anderson shooting 2.
And so if you're Wekiva, obviously you look at that 5-18 record from last season. You know you got to improve on that. And even if you go further back to 2 seasons ago, that team, of course, making a run to the state Final Four. But in the bigger picture, you can even look at it as the fact that Wekiva has won only 2 games during the 2024 calendar year. Of course, after defeating West Orange last Friday, you got to feel a lot better having those 2 wins now under your belt to break that streak in the calendar year. So Hagerty goes back to work. More misses by Wekiva at the free throw line. Hagerty unable to get it. Deese rips down that rebound. Good fighting inside for Deese to not give up on that ball. And back, Deese gets the return and drains the rain.
3 for number 3, Bryce Deese.
3:42, tied at 13 all, second tie of the ball game. Hagerty going back to lurk. Can they re-seize the lead? Yes!
Answered with a 3 from Jaden McCray.
16-13. Hagerty back in the lead, third lead change of the ball game. 3:20 remaining before halftime. Hagerty 3-2 this year so far. Sweeping through that lane against the double team is St. Pierre, and he was
St.
violated.
Pierre is fouled on the attempt. He'll go to the line and shoot 2 with the Mustangs. Foul called against Asa Cone, his second, the team's third of this quarter.
So Wekiva missing 4 free throws in a row, and of course, right now you could look at that and think that's your difference right now. Wekiva could be in the lead, and there'll be 5 in a row now. St. Pierre with 2 points tonight.
Second free throw finds the mark.
And that'll cut the lead to 16-14. Hagerty got a chance to get the lead back up to 2 possessions, and they do.
3 for Ewan Winkler.
So Hagerty now finding their stroke from long range. 19-14 lead. Wekiva's still not able to get it from short range, but they'll pick up that turnover. Nice work by Johnson. And you could hear that Garces hitting the deck hard.
Juju Johnson is called on the hold. That's his first, the team's first of this quarter. And yeah, Neil, that just adds insult to injury when a player loses the ball to a turnover, but then continues to play offense despite the fact that the possession has been conceded, and then they end up drawing a foul as well.
Yeah, we saw that a couple of times last night in the women's game, which, by the way, congratulations to the Lady Mustangs, defeating Apopka last night. They will be back here tomorrow, speaking of the women, looking to go for 2 straight victories. Of course, the women having to deal without a couple of their leading players, as that ball was just stripped away. Nichols sticking his hands in, and the beautiful lead pass underneath to the Juice, and fights off the double team and floats in the Juice.
Juice shows patience for 2.
Cuts the lead back to 19-16.
He was about 2.5 into his 3 seconds there and managed to get that shot off.
6 points, the largest lead for Hagerty, as they continue to rotate that ball. Sliding and attacking through the paint.
No shot, traveling, Mustangs ball.
And as you just heard Mark say, that's Mark Barchi, the public address announcer, as well as my partner. A foul, offensive foul, so that is a turnover. And Wekiva with the chance to cut the lead down to 1 or even tie. They will not, as St. Pierre can't find the straightaway 3. Almost straightaway 3. 1.5 minutes remaining. Both these teams have certainly gotten their shots off. Some good looks at the basket. Back and forth, the 2-man game between Garces and McCray. Now they bring in Winkler. Back to Vega. Beautiful give and go.
Garces to Dean Vega for 2.
I'm sure that's just the way Coach Cone and his staff drew it up in practice. Lead back to 5. And you can't execute a fundamental any better than that, Mark. Under a minute now. I can hear the Hagerty bench chanting, giving their support to the defense. They're still in the man-to-man, as you would expect. Nichols, left, right, Bakes it in for the
Eric
miss.
Nichols withdraws 2.
So not the prettiest looking shot, but to use an old cliche, all the points count the same. 30 seconds remaining. It was what Wekiva needed. And great job underneath by Nichols, getting his hand on that ball. And it will be Wekiva possession. So both these teams rotating the ball crisply on the offensive sets. 21-18 lead for Hagerty. Wekiva's pace not quite as quick as Hagerty's for the most part, but still getting the job done, trailing by only 3. And again, there's your key stat, the offensive rebound, which will not result in a tree. Rims in and out, but second offensive rebound, third offensive rebound, and score the deuce.
Bryce Dees gets the last word of the first half and draws it back to a 1-point game. And so we are no closer to establishing a victory than we were 8 minutes ago. 1-point lead for the Huskies going into the locker room. 21-20 is your score at intermission here on Tuesday night basketball action from Mustang Arena. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. We are getting ready to start the third quarter here. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher to take you through this Tuesday night basketball action. And the Huskies will have the opening possession of the third quarter. Neil, this has been one that has been a little back and forth in terms of the momentum. The Mustangs have only led for a game minute or two, but they have always kept the game within arm's reach.
Yeah, Mark, we enter the second half, as the score indicates, was what you said, 21-20 lead for Hagerty. They've led for actually all but about 20 seconds, never by more than 6. Both these teams scoring 6 points at the start of the game. First, Hagerty.
Isaac Lopez opens up second half scoring for the Huskies.
Then Wekiva answering, taking a quick look at the stats. Neither team shooting particularly well, but Hagerty, as you would expect, a Josh Cohen coached team, one of his traits, 50% from three-point range, 4 of 8. They're only 33% inside the arc, 4 of 12, 8 of 20 overall for 40%. Wekiva, on the other hand, 7 of 25, 1 of 5, that's 8 of 30. So they're a little bit lower in the mid-30s, and they continue that poor shooting, unable to connect on that one. But what's kept Wekiva, as you said, within reach, of course, starting the second half, just to point out, is offensive rebounding. Talked about that throughout the first half. 11 offensive rebounds, 11 defensively. As
down the paint, it's Darian Thomas.
Wekiva cuts the lead to 1 point, 23-22. And Wekiva's, I guess, a bugaboo where they're weak is at the free throw line. They've certainly been much more physical than Hagerty, taking 8 attempts compared to 2, but they've only made 3. Hagerty 1 of 2, and Wekiva.
Second chance basket by Choo Choo Johnson.
Third lead change of the ball game. Wekiva led at 8-7 towards the end of the first quarter. And now a chance to get their lead to the largest of the game. 24-23 lead, both these teams. There's a travel. St. Pierre.
Traveling. Huskies ball.
St. Pierre not sure what he was going to do with the ball. And you could just see that travel over coming down Fifth Avenue. 2 minutes into the third quarter. Wekiva with its second lead of the ball game, 24-23 lead. And again, Wekiva not shooting particularly well, only 8 of 30, less than about 35%. But you got to feel good about that offensive rebounds if you're Coach Lubin. As the Iron on Kind bounces off the heel, give that rebound to Jean Louise, who starts the second half. And in particular, you got to feel good about being in a position to win back-to-back games for the first time in almost a year. It was during Christmas break last year, the last time they went back-to-back victories, and that certainly will not help the travel. So Wekiva opening up with a couple of travels. Now, Hagerty also had more turnovers in that first half, 9-6. Nothing that is distinctly an advantage for Wekiva, but a couple of extra turnovers. And Wekiva took advantage of them. Scoring points, that did help them. Again, stay within reach of Hagerty, not let that lead get to more than 6. And there's a whistle. It'll be Hagerty possession, went out of bounds. So again, it's been offensive rebounding sticking out for Wekiva statistically. And it was 3-point shooting from beyond the arc for Hagerty. That's your matchup statistically. 24-23 lead for Wekiva, 3 lead changes, 1 tie. The launch from Ortiz off the right side. Cohen, right place, right time, takes a step left.
Second chance basket by Asa Cohen.
So talking about offensive rebounding for Wekiva and how it's been their strength, their buddy tonight. And lo and behold, it's Hagerty getting the lead off an offensive rebound. Fourth lead change.
Lubin St. Pierre did everything right except hit the layup. And looks like, to use a football analogy, Mason Morrow did not read his route correctly.
So now Hagerty drops back. into half-court man-to-man. They went half-court man-to-man throughout the first half. No dice for Johnson. Wekiva hand on it, but unable to corral. And that's Morrow coming up with the rebound. He sets up the offense over to Cone. He launches. Can't find the range. Clinks off the rim on that far side. So we've had some good opportunities, some good looks for both these teams early in the second half as we drop under 4 minutes in the third quarter. Already a couple of lead changes, but only a few points. And to Iron Unkind. Gene Louis battling for it, but he couldn't hold on to it. Didn't have his feet planted, and that will remain with Hagerty. So only 8 points scored through the first 4.5 minutes in the third quarter. That's combined. A 1 point lead at halftime for Hagerty. Still a 1 point lead. Both teams scoring 4 points. Cone launches from the right side, and this time finds the range.
For Asa Cone.
That gets the lead up to 4 points, largest it's been since the opening couple of minutes when Hagerty scored the first 6 points. 3 minutes remaining. Wekiva goes back to work. A more deliberate pace in terms of shooting, yet to take one off after about 20 seconds. Over on the left wing, Johnson, contact, now bounces off, find his man, Anderson, who slides through and ran into a couple of players.
Jack Smith, I think, got the block there and the rebound.
Yeah, he did get the rebound, for sure. That's Cohen.
A little
He's
short.
And the offensive rebound.
Second chance put back by Jack Smith.
So Smith gets the block, the rebound, and the offensive rebound in the points. And at the other end,
prior to the shooting action, the foul is called against Josiah Ortiz. It's his first, team's first this half. And we're going to get several personnel changes.
6 point lead now for Hagerty, 7-0 run as well. That's not only given them the lead, but propelled them to a 2-possession lead. 6 points. Wekiva needs to get some points here. Nichols, he releases and drains the rain.
For Nichols.
So Nichols heard me, Mark. Needed some points to get the best possible situation.
Back to a 1-possession ball game.
Back at the other
Not
end.
for long. Answer by Josiah Ortiz.
Ortiz finds the lane. And an opening in the Wekiva defense under 2 minutes now. 5 point lead for Hagerty. Shades of the first half. Hagerty opened up a 6 point lead. Over to Nichols, right wing extended. Back to Johnson, 2-man game. Another launch, no dice, and the Juice goes high for it. See who the foul's on. He got tangled up with Ortiz.
Foul is called against Hagerty. It's number 3, Josiah Ortiz. That's his second personal foul, team second.
So with 1:32 remaining, talked about it at the beginning of the second half, offensive rebounding was Wekiva's friend. They kept them within the game, that was their strength.
And a little bit of confusion here on...
Only 2 offensive rebounds through the first 6.5 minutes in the third quarter, though. So again, reminder, we'll be back here tomorrow at Mustang Arena. The women's will be playing. They'll be looking to win 2 games in a row for the first time this season. And speaking 2 in a row, as Coach Cone is talking to our lead ref, with 1:32 remaining, Wekiva looking for its first 2-game winning streak, defeating West Orange. Their last outing, that was on Friday night. Also looking to go 3-3. First time they'll be at 500 in over a season.
And what I gathered there was that there was an illegal substitution, that one of the players entered without actually being cleared by the official. And so that they'll settle for a warning there. since the play had not actually started when they corrected the situation.
Nichols with the shot. Lopez with the rebound. The shot at the other end. That's Tate. He was rejected.
Markel Anderson and Darian Thomas teaming up for that block. I think Anderson probably was the one who got his hand on it. If this were volleyball, though, they'd each get a half block.
Yeah, so again, that was actually the second field goal attempt on the possession. Hagerty, 5-point lead, got a chance to get it back up to 7. Tried for the 8-point lead off the tray, no dice. And Thomas snags the rebound, and he gets whacked.
Block is called against Huskies, number 12, Marvin Tate. That's his second personal foul, the team's third. Now we'll get that substitution legally that we were trying to get before.
1:06 remaining. Nichols brings the ball up.
That's McCray now into the game.
About 250 fans in attendance. I'm sure a few of them coming from Oviedo, where Hagerty's located. No dice. Clanks off the rim on the right side. Anderson with the shot. And Hagerty an opportunity to open up that lead once again, get it up to 7 or even 8. 7 points, the largest of the game. That was about 2.5 minutes ago. 35 seconds remaining. Cone down in the right corner to Lopez. Loft no good, and back to work Wekiva goes. Perhaps looking to hold on for that last shot. 20 seconds remaining. Down by 5. Certainly points here would be big heading into the fourth quarter, not only for momentum, but to get the lead down to one possession. Nichols comes off that double team. 4 seconds, loses it back to Thomas. Spins from 12 feet, can't get it to go as it clanks off the far near side.
That takes us to the end of the third quarter, and the third set of 8 minutes slightly favorable to the Huskies. They have extended their lead from 1 to 5. 32-27 is your score with 8 minutes left to play here on Tuesday night basketball action from Mustang Arena. Back with a conclusion in a moment. Treat you to a little bit of the cheerleaders there as we come back from break. For those of you here in the arena, we want to remind you if you are depending on a ride to get home from tonight's game and you have not already done so, make sure you give them a call and let them know that we are headed into the fourth quarter. They should be on their way to pick you up so that our administrators can close the facility promptly and get home to their families at the conclusion of tonight's game. We appreciate your cooperation.
We begin the fourth quarter. Once again, Wekiva down by 5 points, 32-27. A 7-0 run by Hagerty put him in the lead, set it at 7. Now down to 5. Chance to cut into the lead, goes by the wayside. Got the shot they wanted from the corner, no contestant. But unable to drop this. Of course, field goal percentage, a big part of this game as the Juice rips down that rebound off the tray. Neither team shooting particularly well. The one statistics shooting-wise that stood out is Hagerty is around 50% beyond the arc. And they used that to up the lead, as Mark said, from 1 point to 2 possessions. Now a chance to get it back up to 7 or even 8. They'll go for the 8 as Cone launches, and nothing but
3
that.
for Asa Cone.
So
10 points for him tonight. He's got almost a third of the offensive production of the Huskies.
35-27 lead, 8 points largest of the game for either team. And you can't ask for a better executed play than what you just saw on the other end. Sure, Coach Cone set it up just like that. Nichols the fadeaway, And he finds the range.
Eric Nichols on a fading jumper for 2, and we'll pause for a timeout.
Lead back down to 6.
Full timeout requested by the Mustangs.
Lead back down to 6, 6:40 remaining from Mustang Arena. We'll see if Wekiva can put together a second run and get back into the lead during the middle stages of the fourth quarter from Mustang Arena.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher, and we are back to live action as the Huskies take the inbound. They are leading 35-29, 6-point lead. And again, Wekiva has always kept this game within arm's reach, but Neil, as you mentioned earlier, Wekiva has only actually led for about 20 seconds as we get a short-range jumper from Asa Cone.
37-29, and to your point, Mark, as if Hagerty was hearing you, lead back up to 8. That's the largest of the game, second time now. So certainly Wekiva,
shot blocked by Nicholas Garces and manages to get it to his allies.
This is an important game now for both these teams. Of course, Hagerty, a member of 7A District 4. They come in 3-2. The 2013 state champion, always having aspirations of a long playoff run.
And again, both of these teams with 5 games in the book so far. This is the 6th game of the regular season for each of them. That's probably a little bit below average for all teams in Florida, but again, that is because these seasons are backloaded with tournaments as we get a foul called against Huskies, number 25.
So Hagerty coming in.
Vegas first personal foul, the team's first.
A very balanced attack. As good job there by Garces to hold on to that ball. And did he draw a foul or is it just out of bounds? No, it's just out of bounds. So, of course, Cone, Asa Cone, the 6'4" junior, your leading scorer at 19 points. There's an interception by St. Pierre. Score the deuce, floating.
Living St. Pierre.
So exactly what Wekiva needed. Not only obviously a 10-point potential, now just 6, but now they're starting to pick up some steam and some momentum. Back to back.
Choo Johnson, coast to coast.
So the turnover results in the 3rd and 4th consecutive points. And suddenly what could have been a 10-point lead is now down to 4. As I was saying, Cone with 19 points. He's been held to 10 tonight.
Intercepted by Kenny DeJuiced. Transition off the heel for Johnson.
So Cone's been held to 12, make that 15.
3 for Asa Cone. And now we'll pause for a full timeout called by the Huskies. 60-second timeout for Hagerty.
And so Cone starting to find his stroke here as the team needs him most as we head into the final stages. Behind Cone, though, you have Lopez with 11, and then 3 other players scoring 6 and 8. That's pretty much how they've laid out. We've had a start to this game where it didn't necessarily look that way, but now they're starting to find their rhythm and reach up to their stats. 7-point lead for Wekiva, 4:46 remaining. This is the Wekiva Mustangs Athletic Network.
Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Barchi here with Neil Fisher as we get back to live action. And the Mustangs, again, keeping the game within shouting distance. 7-point advantage for the Huskies now. It's been as high as 8, but Wekiva going to have to get some unanswered points here, and soon, because Hagerty so far has not allowed Wekiva to really build much of a streak. That'll get the ball rolling, though, as Darian Thomas gets a second chance basket from the paint.
Cuts that lead down to 5 as we approach 4 minutes. Wekiva in the full court defense. And is that hell ball?
Hell ball, possession, Huskies.
So Wekiva unable to get the turnover, but you can certainly see it was disrupting Hagerty. They were having some trouble dealing with that pressure. It's been a low-scoring game, as you can tell by the 40-35 score.
Foul's called against Bryce Dees, his first, team's first of this period.
So 58.2 points per game as a team for Hagerty. Certainly, barring some miraculous increase in that field goal percentage, Wekiva's going to hold them under their average. Into Lopez, beautifully executed.
Off the inbound, Nicholas Garces.
Back the other way.
Quick answer by St. Pierre.
And we've been seeing this all night. Hagerty, every time they need a bucket or two, they're able to find it. 7-0 run midway through that fourth quarter, putting Hagerty not only in the lead, but by 3 possessions. The lead's gone back and forth between 5 and 8 since then. 3:48 remaining now, and as Mark said, it's not quite crunch time, but we are getting close. Certainly Wekiva could do itself a favor if they could get a couple of back-to-back buckets, unanswered.
Well, knowing that Hagerty has not conceded a run yet today, as we get a basket down the baseline from Nicholas Garces.
Well, a lead that's really changed their control of the game. Lead now back up to 7. Remember, Wekiva did score 6 in a row. Hagerty scored the first 6. Wekiva answered with 6 in a row. And then they put together a 7-0 run midway through that second.
Stuffed by the Huskies. That was Lopez.
Now, Wekiva led with about 3 minutes before halftime, 24-23. And 28-24 at halftime.
Trey, just not going to happen for Anderson.
Excuse me, Wekiva led 24-23 at halftime, and then Hagerty put together a 7-0 run at the beginning of the third quarter to take the lead, which they still have held on to as we drop under 3 minutes.
Now, Hagerty was up 1 at halftime.
Oh.
Foul's called at Juju Johnson. That's a second personal foul, the team's second of this quarter. Huskies barely avoid the 5-second call on the inbound. Settle into the half court.
2:33 remaining. Coach Cohn wants a timeout.
The Huskies request 30-second timeout. We'll be back in a moment. Welcome back to Mustang Arena. Mark Archie here with Neil Fisher for the last 2.5 minutes of this game. Still not a decided contest yet, but the Mustangs are going to have to make something happen that they have not done so far. Juju Johnson has nobody in front of him. There's the layup. Juju Johnson steals a full court layup for the Mustangs.
Jumped the route like a defensive back in football. And much needed points, as Mark said. Wekiva needed to make something happen. Now they need to do it on defense for a second consecutive possession. This is where that last basket scored by Hagerty comes into play. Still a 5-point lead, and they're taking time off that clock, dropping down to 2 minutes. Wekiva remaining in the full court, man-to-man. Both these teams full court, man-to-man throughout, as you would expect. Hagerty's got Wekiva jumping around, running around at that perimeter.
The Huskies know that the clock is their friend, and so they're going to take advantage of it. No shot clock for this season, at least in Orange County, although the FHSAA has opened the door to that. Now, finally, the Mustangs leave the key wide open, and that's Josiah Ortiz to Mason Morrow.
And again,
so the Huskies' patience pays off there. They waited until they had exactly the shot they wanted. Now it rims out for Leuven St. Pierre, and we're going to get a foul on the rebound. Foul's called against Huskies number 30, Isaac Lopez, his first, the team's second.
Yeah, and again, Mark, is another example. Hagerty getting exactly what they have needed every time Wekiva has made a good, strong play. As you mentioned, Mark, Wekiva yet to really put together 3 consecutive possessions in which they've come up with game-changing, the feel of the game-changing plays, actions. They've made a couple. They've had couple of possessions in which they've, as you said, Mark, got that lead back down to 2 possessions. Still gave them an opportunity to win.
Neil, when's the last time we were at the free throw? When's the last time we were at the free throw line? I feel like it's been a while.
It was in the first half.
Yeah, we went an entire 8 and 7, almost 15 minutes of game time without a free throw attempt. And there's Juju Johnson. Converts a turnover and takes it back to a 1-possession ball game. We will pause for a timeout called by the Mustangs. 46-43, the Huskies lead with 68 seconds to go here in Mustang Arena. (46-43) the lead. That being Hagerty's lead. They've led for all but about 20 seconds of this game. A 10-1 run which began towards the end of the second half into the third quarter, and towards the end of the second quarter into the third quarter has put Hagerty in the lead. They've led by as many as 8. Now all of a sudden we see some intensity from Wekiva that I don't think we've really seen all game.
Defensive end.
Something Coach Leuven said during the timeout lit a fire under them, and
as I mentioned, Mark,
you get the TO here.
This is the first time in quite some time since the first half Wekiva has put together 3 consecutive possessions in which they've made a play that has really changed the momentum or given them an opportunity to control the momentum.
Spin move by Johnson, not going to go, and who touched it last? Wekiva. So it is going to be Huskies ball as we dip under a minute to play here.
So Wekiva with an opportunity to continue that momentum, 3 consecutive possessions.
Well, again, the full court pressure almost bears fruit as Darius Holiday gets up in the grill of Nicholas Garces. It's going to stay with the Huskies. You better believe Wekiva's going full court man. It's high risk, high reward, but really what choice do you have at this point? Double team trap coming up against the Huskies.
Hagerty breaks it, 40 seconds remaining.
Transition play, there it is. Basket by Nicholas Garces from Morrow. And now transition at the other end. Leuven St. Pierre answers for the Mustangs.
29.8 seconds remaining as Coach Leuven calls the timeout. So a lot of action back and forth. give Wekiva credit. They got the basket they needed to answer, but they were unable to stop Hagerty. Again, Hagerty coming up with that perfectly executed play for the open shot just when they needed it. They've only shot about 40%, but they've had 3 of those baskets, which got that lead back up to 2 possessions when they absolutely needed it. 48-45 for Mustang Arena. A Morrow pass to setting up a Garces basket. That's their difference right now, along with 5 missed free throws in the first half by Wekiva. They're on defense, 48-45 lead for Hagerty. Stolen. St. Pierre with the
Ruben St. Pierre steals directly under the basket and takes it to a 1-point ball game. The Mustangs will now take their final timeout. 30-second timeout called by the Mustangs. Back for the photo finish in a moment.
.48-47 the score. The visiting Hagerty Huskies, who will have possession with the lead over the homestanding Wekiva Mustangs. Only 3 lead changes during this game and 2 ties, but as we've pointed out, Hagerty has never led by more than 8 points. Wekiva's going to have to come up with a stop. 21.6 seconds remaining, looking to even their record at 3-3. Hagerty comes in at 3-2. Nice move by Morrow, getting loose. Now they got a foul. 3 passes, taking time off that clock.
Foul called against Juju Johnson, his third, the team's third. So now the Mustangs are actually going to be penalized for the fact they kept their noses clean for most of the fourth quarter. They still need to get 2 more to put them at the free throw line.
And nope, they're not giving it here. Not sure why not. Got a foul, and there it is.
Foul is called against Mustangs. Number 0, Holiday, that's his first, the team's 4th.
8.6 seconds remaining. About 5 more seconds coming off the clock. Hagerty's taken 10 seconds off the clock as well in total on this possession.
Full timeout requested by Hagerty.
So now Wekiva's got a foul immediately on the inbound if they don't get that steal. And they're going to have to make a trade most likely as well. Neither team shooting the ball well from the field except for Hagerty. They were 4 of 8 in the first half. They have not shot nearly as many in the third quarter. They've gone a lot more to the 2-point variety attempt. And again, Hagerty has been able to come up with those shots. It's been 4 or 5 when Wekiva was right on the cusp of putting together 3 consecutive possessions, unanswered points, as well as gaining some of that momentum. It's been a lot of great passing, cutting inside and outside, finding your man open alongside that paint in the baseline. And now comes up to this. They absolutely need to come up with the defensive stop or that 3-pointer if Hagerty goes to the line and makes 2. Of course, before all that, you got to foul immediately. Again, 8.6 seconds remaining in this inter-county matchup. There's the inbound. And there's no foul yet. Still no foul. Now we get the foul with 4.5 seconds remaining.
Foul's called against Darian Thomas, his first, the team's fifth penalty situation. That finally will put the Huskies at the free throw line. It'll be number 33, Nicholas Garces, shooting 2.
So Garces at the line, number 33, as you just heard Mark say. He has 6 points tonight. Your leading scorer is Asa Cohen. But the fate of this game, at least for right now, in Garza's hands. Rims in and out, so Wekiva's still with a shot, not only to tie but win. They have no timeouts remaining, so they're going to have to get the ball up quickly. That's Hagerty.
Huskies
Coach
request a
Cohen.
timeout.
So Garza.
Full timeout.
Garza with only 8 free throw attempts so far this season, 5 of 8. And he gives Wekiva exactly what it needs. So 4.5 seconds remaining. And who would have thought this a minute ago that Wekiva could win this game on a three-pointer? Certainly, as of now, a two-pointer wins it. Of course, that's still with one more free throw to go.
Now, this is going to be a photo finish one way or the other. Wekiva is either going to get the ball from the baseline on a throw-in, or they're going to have to get it directly off of a rebound on a miss. As you mentioned, Wekiva has burned all 5 of their timeouts, so they cannot stop the clock. So they are going to have to make it all the way down the court in 4.5 seconds. So whatever is going to happen, it's going to happen fast in a transition play, and they're probably going to get one shot at it, maybe a putback opportunity if they're lucky.
So here we go, both teams walking back onto the court. Your reset quickly. Hagerty with the 48-47 lead. We're playing at Mustang Arena, Wekiva's home court. At the line is Nicholas Garces. This will be his 10th free throw attempt of the season. Missed his first. He's shooting right in front of the cheerleaders.
Which is why you see that camera shaking.
Here we go. Free throw in. 4.5 seconds. Wekiva's got to get it in quickly. At St. Pierre, gets it over to Nichols, who launches for the win. And it's short.
That takes us to the end of the ball game, and it was a thrilling photo finish. But a 2-point victory for the Huskies here on Tuesday night basketball action from Mustang Arena. We want to thank everyone for coming out to support your Mustang and Husky athletes tonight. We also want to thank those of you who tuned in on NFHS Network or YouTube Live. Our next broadcast will be tomorrow night at 7:30. That's where the ladies will be back in action. We hope that you'll join us for that. Those of you here in the arena, thanks so much for spending part of your Tuesday evening with us. Those of you watching online, we hope that you will subscribe before you go tonight, and we'll see you again tomorrow right here at Mustang Arena. Please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Have a great night.